You're listening to the Productive Therapist Podcast, the world's greatest and most brilliant resource for busy therapists who'd rather be laying on a beach in Hawaii. Each episode is packed with simple tips and inspiring insights from the Productive Therapist team to help you grow your practice and have fun doing it. So without further ado, let's help you get more done and have more fun.
Hello, welcome back to the Productive Therapist Podcast. I'm so happy that you're listening today. And today I'm joined by Lucy. How's it going, Lucy?
Good. It's great to be here. How are you?
Yes, I'm good. Always lovely to chat with you, of course. And today we are going to have some fun talking about how to build your perfect intake system. And as we've been rolling out simple intake over this last year or so, we have kind of developed this model we're calling the Productive Therapist Method, right? Kind of exciting. Yeah.
It is. It's very cool. Oh, simple intake. It made such a difference to so many practices already. I'm super excited to chat about it.
Definitely. And our philosophy is essentially combining the speed of AI with an AI-powered CRM for your intake process with an amazing human team is the best way to care for the most folks and connect with everyone who reaches out to your practice. That's the ticket, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you have been very busy with many things, but you've been very busy talking to a lot of therapists, a lot of practice owners before they purchase Simple Intake or our services. And then I've been talking to them after they purchase Simple Intake, getting them set up and getting them going. So we're going to kind of tackle some of the things we're hearing and address some concerns or questions that we've been talking about a lot, right?
Yeah, absolutely. This will be great. Let's do it.
Yeah. The thing that I've been hearing a lot in the last couple of weeks is I'm just concerned. It sounds something like this. I'm nervous about my clients or potential clients talking to AI. I'm nervous that they won't like it. Have you heard that one too?
Yes, absolutely. I hear that a lot. It's probably one of the number one concerns. And the reality is it's true. Some people will not like talking to an AI. But that is no different to somebody calling and getting a voicemail or having to email a practice. You know, people have different preferences about how they communicate. AI is just another tool to help people to connect with your practice. But also the reality is it's already happening. You know, we're already seeing this shift. Amazon is a big one. If you've tried to return anything on Amazon recently, you will know they have AI'd everything. But of course, you know, all these companies that are using AI for answering calls, they are not trained in mental health or in intake, and they don't need to be warm, compassionate, or conversational. But simple intake is different with that. We know in mental health that is incredibly important. And so simple intake is all of those things. It has a warm, compassionate tone. It's conversational. It really chats with callers. And unlike a human, it never has a bad day. So It always has endless patience, endless time for everyone that calls your practice. So every new client gets that same warm touch, which is really great.
Absolutely. And we're working on the goal here is to create a positive experience for them.
Absolutely.
Not like some of the ones you might have had with your cable provider or your phone provider or et cetera. Because I think that's if that's your frame of reference, like, oh, I talked to an AI receptionist. It was absolutely terrible. I don't want that for my clients. That's not what we're creating. We're creating something that's very, very much customized to mental health practices. And one of the things I've been telling folks lately is the good thing is you have 100% transparency on people's experience. So you can read the transcript, you can listen to the call recording, and you basically know immediately if anybody is upset or angry or just not having a good time. It's right there. The data is right there, like immediately. So that's super helpful. I got to tell you something that I don't think I've told you before, but when I did a live demo with a talk that I was giving in Chicago, I just pretended to be, the dad with the teenage daughter who needs counseling because she's anxious and all these kind of things. Yeah. And visibly, not visibly, but audibly and visibly in the room, some of the therapists were like, "Ah," when the AI receptionist was expressing empathy towards me as the caller. I know. And I was like that reaffirmed for me, like, this is a pretty cool thing. This is a unique thing, not just like a robot, handling a call. So it really does work well like that.
Yeah, it is incredibly cool. And being able to experience that compassion live and being able to, like you said, to review the transcripts and the recordings and see it happening is awesome. But, of course, if the worst case scenario happens, the person calls the practice, the AI says, hello, I'm an AI, and they hang the phone up. Even then, simple intake is capturing their information, their phone number, often their name, and that information all gets forwarded to your admin person, who is a human being, and presumably, and we're not quite there yet, and can presumably follow up with them. So they're still going to get the human touch either
Definitely.
way.
Yeah. So the next question that comes up often is, what if they want to talk to a human, or what if they want to get through to our team? And so one of the things we always build in is called the human handoff. It's just an action. Essentially, if the caller says, I want to talk to a human or speak to a representative, or fill in the blank, like I'm just calling with a billing question, or I'm trying to reach Sarah, then it will actually transfer them to the internal practice number where they can leave a message or get through to somebody. So that's just kind of a nice handoff. We don't want anybody to be stuck in the loop of talking to this AI receptionist if they don't want to be, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Power to the people.
That one's easy. That's an easy one, honestly. But we do have to make sure we don't put them in a loop like this just happened yesterday, where we were transferring people back to the internal number, but after hours, it was just sending them back to the AI receptionist. So we actually had to tweak that and turn it off. But we want it to be simple. We want it to make sense. And like I said, give them a good experience, because often this is their first impression of the practice. So we don't want to make them frustrated from the get-go. Yeah. So the next thing, what if a caller wants to leave a voicemail instead of talking to the AI? How do we handle that?
I love this because, I mean, at its core, this it kind of almost is a voicemail. It's like a really interactive, friendly, conversational voicemail, because the whole thing is being recorded and transcribed anyway. So if the person doesn't realize that's happening and they say, I want to leave a voicemail, they can absolutely leave a message. It's still going to be transcribed. It's still going to be sent through to the practice email and get responded to like any other notification would be.
Absolutely. Yeah. Everything that they're sharing is part of the message. And we can definitely configure it so the AI receptionist says something like, I'll go ahead and share that with the team and they'll get back to you within, X time frame. So that works nicely. It's not the same as leave a message after the beep and then the thing that we're all used to, but that's totally fine. It works.
I thought that would be kind of cute if the AI reception, if you said, they said leave a message after the beep, beep.
That would be funny. I like that.
That would be funny.
I've had a thought about creating an AI agent or an AI receptionist just for me personally, like as a business owner. And I would program it with jokes, like it could tell them jokes. I think that'd be kind of fun, actually.
That would be really fun. I don't know that would work for a mental health practice. I mean, depending on the practice. I mean, maybe Patch Adams, but yeah.
Sure. Mm-hmm. I guess one thing I want to say here before we move on to the next question is that I've been talking a lot about AI receptionists, and we've been going on and on about this every chance we get. But the reality is that simple intake is an entire system for your intake process. It's not just this AI receptionist piece. That is part of an entire intake process that allows us to track folks through the intake process and follow up with them with automations, with automated texts, automated emails, contact forms on your website, et cetera. So it's not just the one thing, it's a whole system.
Yeah, absolutely. And then if you add the human intake specialist on the end of that, they're already trained in simple intake, so they can support you with that too. A productive therapist intake specialist. Yes, exactly.
I mean, we are the preferred source.
Yeah, well, we prefer us. I mean,
we do. We certainly do. One other question is about the phone number, right? People want to know, do I need to change my phone number and how does that work? And that's one of the things we always address at the very beginning. The reality is that the AI receptionist does need its own phone number, and we provide that to the practice. And we usually pick a number that has the same area code as their practice. Sometimes we actually go with a toll-free number, and that's kind of better in some ways. Certainly if a practice is multi-state or multi-location, or they aspire to be, we can give them a toll-free number. And then we're not going to get into the nitty-gritty too much of the call routing, but we do have some options. And it's just important to say you don't have to change your existing number, but this AI receptionist can answer full-time all the time, 24/7. But that does require us to put a new number on your website, Psychology Today, Google Business Listing, et cetera. And the reality is that nobody who's reaching out to you is going to memorize your number, and nobody I don't want to be too blunt, but nobody cares what your number is. As long as it's not like off-putting or it's not strange, I guess. I don't know what that would even be. But swapping that number, even if you've had it for a long time and you're emotionally attached to it, it's actually not a problem.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And the cool thing is with simple intake, if you don't want to switch numbers, like you said, it's still got to have its own number. It's automatically assigned. That's just how it works. But you can keep your regular practice number. If you're using a virtual phone system, you can have it just automatically redirect simple intake. So somebody calls the practice number, it's automatically set to reroute to simple intake. So internally, it's sending it to that new phone number. But the caller doesn't know that. They just know that they're calling your practice number.
Right.
And if you have somebody who answers the phone live sometimes, you can set it up so that it rings a couple of times to allow time for someone to answer the call before it automatically redirects to simple intake. So you've got a few different options with that as well, which is nice.
I think the last one is particularly clever. We call it the hybrid approach. But we put the simple intake phone number on your website, and then it transfers to your internal team so that you can have a chance to pick up the phone if that's something that you do. And then if not, it goes back to the AI receptionist, which provides the most amount of coverage, honestly. Well, I mean, AI all the time is the most amount of coverage, I suppose, but this is like the next best kind of hybrid approach. Yeah, it's nice. So what about handling calendar bookings and scheduling? A lot of people don't know this, but when I start to talk to them about it, I say, well, this can actually do everything that your Calendly or your Acuity does in terms of scheduling that initial consultation, and it can actually do it live on the phone with the AI receptionist, which I think still is one of the coolest things.
So
that's all built in. It's all built in, and we recommend using it unless the practice doesn't do consultations at all, right? And some don't, but I think a lot of practices still do those.
Yeah, I think so too, at least based on the people that I speak to. We often get asked by practices who don't have an intake person, can it schedule with all of my clinicians?
Right.
And technically, yes, it can. However, if you want that set up, we are not the people to do it for you. We will set it up to schedule with a person. Usually that's your intake coordinator or your intake team. But if you want to round robin it through all of your clinicians, that is a level of complexity that we have chosen not to support because it does take so much time. But technically it's possible.
Yeah, people definitely ask that. Can this replace my intake coordinator and schedule the first therapy appointment with the clinician and also do the matching? And you're absolutely right. It can do those things, but we don't recommend it actually because we think that having a human involved is a better experience, and it sets you apart, I think, from the big therapy companies of the world who just do everything automated and with no human involved. So we think that's still important. Yeah. And the reality is that Simple Intake is a CRM or a client relationship management platform, and it's not intended to replace your EHR. And currently it doesn't integrate with most mental health EHRs. In the future, it will for sure. So in the future, we're not promising anything, but I can almost guarantee that that's going to happen. And it is possible with some larger like EMRs or, health system software tools, because the technology is there. It's just about, I'm getting into the weeds of the tech. Yeah. But we're not trying to replace your EHR. And so there's still some manual like creating of client accounts in your EHR, but it's totally fine. And it's what you've probably been doing already anyways. Yeah. So next question is, how does Simple Intake handle urgent or time-sensitive calls or, crisis call situations? And I'm always happy to share that it does a really good job with that. Even detecting with some amount of nuance, a pretty good amount of nuance, if there's a concern about safety or something like that. I've tested this a bunch just to make sure that what we're providing to folks is really solid. And I've never been able to break it, so to speak, right? And we build this into the prompt for the AI receptionist, and it knows exactly what to do. And it basically does what a good clinician would do in terms of referring them to crisis services and resources. So that is built in from the start for everyone we work with.
Yeah. The really nice thing about that as well is, you may be concerned that your human intake person would do a better job with that, and you don't want to entrust that to AI. But regardless of how well trained a human intake coordinator is, they can still forget things, or they may not pick up on a nuance. They may not pick up on a word or a trigger phrase that somebody has just said in a phone call. That's not the case with AI because it's always pulling on the same information. It's never having a bad day. It doesn't forget things. So it is a far more consistent approach to have the AI speaking with people.
Definitely. And if there's a crisis situation or a safety concern after that conversation is over, first of all, I want to say that we build it into the prompt that it will not schedule a consultation call in an emergency or crisis situation because that's not appropriate, right? So, and after that conversation is over, it's going to give them the recommendations, and then immediately an email is sent to the intake coordinator or whoever is receiving those, so they know right away or as soon as they're checking that, and then they can respond if they want to. Yeah. So that's pretty critical for us, obviously. And some state legislation and laws are coming into place that are actually telling therapy practices how they can and cannot use AI for intake specifically. And we're tracking that and making sure that it's compliant wherever we're providing it. Yep, especially to protect young people, for sure.
Oh, goodness, yes.
Before we continue, I want to tell you about my product, Simple Intake. As a longtime practice owner, I always had the same problem. Too many inquiries were slipping through the cracks. So I built the solution. Simple Intake is an all-in-one mental health CRM that actually works. It responds to inquiries in seconds with an AI receptionist, follows up automatically, and schedules consultations 24/7. So your clinicians stay booked, you stop losing new clients, and you finally get your time back. You can see it in action at productivetherapist.com/simple intake. All right, let's get back to the episode. So Lucy, can you tell me and tell our audience a little bit about how we're integrating Simple Intake with our services, with our intake specialist services?
Oh, yes. So exciting. It really is the best route for most people. So our human intake specialists are comprehensively trained in the intake process. They are all passionate about mental health. Often they have a background in mental health in some way. Occasionally, we even have licensed counselors working with us. Obviously, that's not the role that they're filling as an intake person, but they are incredibly passionate about mental health. Our training and support is second to none. So when you have one of our virtual assistants or intake specialists supporting your practice with intakes, you can expect a really stellar experience for every caller. Every client, new or existing, that reaches out to your practice will be cared for in a warm, compassionate, and empathetic way. This person is there to support you. They want to connect your clients to the best possible support. And of course, all our virtual assistants are trained in Simple Intake. So if you're using Simple Intake alongside one of our virtual assistants, that is the best possible scenario, because not only do we set up Simple Intake for you, so you don't have to do all the techie things, we do that for you, but we will take care of the techie things on the back end as well, because your virtual assistant is trained in Simple Intake. So they can support you with the entire process. They will take great care of your clients and your therapy team and make sure that everyone gets filled up. It's a beautiful thing. When you have both working together, it's like going to the ballet or the opera. It's fabulous.
That's a good analogy. And we were talking the other day about Mac versus PC, right? Like,
yeah,
this is what we're providing to people is like a Mac experience, an Apple experience, where it's like, this is just something that's going to plug and play and it's going to work for you and you're going to enjoy it. So yeah, very, very proud of that. We're both very proud of that. And of course, I'm not sure if you mentioned that there, but we are all US based. Our folks are employees. There's no contractors involved here. We're providing a business service to other therapy practices that's a write-off on their taxes as well, right? And high quality. We've been doing this we're now in our 9th year. So this is, what we do every single day, every single week. And now that we've got Simple Intake, it's kind of like I was going to say it's a match made in heaven.
I was thinking the same thing.
Maybe going a little too far with the analogies, but it's a pretty great thing. And side note, we do obviously support various different EHRs, of course, right? And whatever your phone system is, we're going to work with your phone system. And if you do come to us with another CRM or another platform that you're using, we're of course going to use that as well. So just if people are wondering that.
Yeah. You're working with an intake specialist. They're an incredible resource for streamlining your processes, converting more callers into clients. but also we're not going to come blazing in and try and reinvent the wheel. We'll use what you already have, and we'll make suggestions which you can choose to take or not take, entirely up to you. But another nice thing about working with one of our virtual assistants is that if for some reason your VA moves on from productive therapist, we will make sure that your intake support carries on. We will take care of the cross training. We cover the cost of that. We will match you with another VA who will take care of your practice. So you don't have to go out and hire and train somebody new and hope that they're going to be good, hope that they stay. With productive therapists, you always have that continuity. We will continue to take care of you and make sure you have ongoing intake support, which is awesome.
Such a nice thing. I appreciate that so much for my practice, even though I have had the same person for like 7 years.
Yes, and she's pretty epic.
Yeah, she's awesome. Yeah, that's great. So if you're interested in any of these services, whether our intake specialist coordinators, intake coordinators, or Simple Intake, our AI-powered CRM, you can check those out at productivetherapist.com. And you can just follow the links to schedule a call with Lucy if you want to chat about it. And she's happy to guide you and help you with a strategy call and point you in the right direction. And we would love to hear from you. So check that out. And yeah, thanks for chatting, Lucy. This is fun.
This was awesome. Cheerio. That's it for today. Thanks so much for joining us. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review and hit the subscribe button to make sure you never miss an episode. If you're looking for more personalized help, you can reach us through productivetherapist.com. Thanks so much for listening. We are Productive Therapists, and this is the podcast that helps therapists get more done and have more fun.